Good evening, I'm Ryan Graham. Thank you for joining us. At Queen's Park this week, Thunder Bay Superior North MPP Lise Vaugeois highlighted job losses within the WSIB. She questioned the Ford government's decision to cut jobs and source work from an American company. The Labour Minister boasted about lowering taxes as a defense.
26 people working for the WSIB in document management. WSIB is an organization under your control. They have lost their unionized jobs that have now been handed over to the American company Iron Mountain. Speaker, through you to the Premier, why are you cutting Ontario jobs for the benefit of American corporate profits?
We aren't, Speaker. This government is focused. When we look at the systemic measures we're taking to stand up for jobs, we included in our procurement by Ontario provisions. We included provisions that support Ontario workers. When it came, Speaker, to ensuring that we create jobs here on this side, we created a low-tax environment that encouraged investment that actually gets men and women to work, Speaker.
The Anishinaabe Nations Fall Assembly was held in Thunder Bay this week, which is also known as Treaties Recognition Week. And leadership expressed concern that treaty commitments are not being respected by both the federal and provincial governments as resource and infrastructure projects are being fast-tracked with less consultation. Kawetanong MPP Sol Mamakwa brought that concern directly to Queen's Park.
Speaker, chiefs across Treaty 9 territory met this week, and they are sending a clear message to Ontario and Canada. The government will not build Canada and Ontario on the backs of our communities. They will not reap the profits of our lands while leaving our people without access to clean water, safe housing, or proper health care. I want to quote Chief Sherry Taylor from Ginnegomik. Canada cannot write its own future based on the erosion of our rights and our lands. We are constantly in states of emergency and crisis while the government is taking out television ads planning how will they profit from our lands. This is not a promise of the treaties. Miigwech.
The chief of the Treaty 3 Police Service was recently invited to speak to the Standing Committee on Indigenous and Northern Affairs in Ottawa and share some of the problems facing her police force. Cheryl Gervais has been the chief of the Treaty 3 Police since 2023, and she's been a staff member since the founding year of that police service in 2003. The Standing Committee includes Kenora Kawetanong MP Eric Malilo. Gervais told committee members that her police service has been struggling with recruitment, and a big part of that is the difference between running a standard municipal police force and running one that covers a vast region with dozens of First Nations.
When we talk about systemic racism in the justice system, we must begin by naming it. It is not only present in institutions, but in the frameworks that guide them. Indigenous police services have operated for decades under a model that was never designed for our realities. Even today, in our funding negotiations, we've been asked to conform to systems that fail to reflect our unique needs. This is systemic racism in practice.
There's been an uptick in gang activity, drugs, smuggling of illegal items, all things that have been happening right across Canada and certainly Northwestern Ontario Treaty 3 territory is no different.
The Standing Committee for Indigenous and Northern Affairs meets to discuss Indigenous policing and public safety each Monday and Wednesday. Liberal ministers are spending their first post-budget weekend selling the government's fiscal outlook to Canadians. But there are still big questions about one of the biggest expenditures in the budget, military spending. CTV's Jeremy Sharon has more.
Across the country, this is what the next week will look like. Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal government is hitting the ground to sell its fiscal plan for Canada's future.
This is about being able to make sure that we control what we can control.
In Montreal and Ottawa today, ministers highlighting a new federal infrastructure fund helping finance new community projects.
We're going to build, we're going to protect, and we're going to empower.
But a big focus in this budget is on defense spending. more than $80 billion over 5 years, yet critics have said details on how that money will be spent are lacking.
Government needs to come forward and provide more of an explanation, more of a roadmap, some more detail about where those dollars are going to go.
The budget also doesn't earmark any money for new submarines, despite this government signaling an urgency to deliver that contract.
We're actually in the middle of negotiations. It's hard to book money when you haven't got a price on an acquisition. So we are in the middle of these negotiations, looking to see how we will get as many industrial benefits as possible.
Now, while setting aside big money for defense is a first step, actually spending it is a different challenge.
Lots of good stuff's happening. It's not yet clear whether or not we're adapting, even if they're all great ideas, as fast as we need to be able to adapt to a huge injection of money.
The Canadian Armed Forces have historically faced challenges spending the money allotted to them.
A lot of our procurement has been stuck in the early 1990s, to be very honest with you.
The minister points to his government's new Defense Investment Agency as a fix, tasked with overhauling and streamlining procurement.
Now, follow-through will be crucial to meeting a new increased NATO spending target of 3.5% of GDP. But this budget doesn't include details on how much closer this fiscal framework gets us to meeting that goal. Jeremy Cheryl, CTV News, Ottawa.
A woman from Perot Falls is the latest winner of the Dryden 50/50 draw for October. Organizers of the monthly fundraiser for the Dryden Regional Health Services Foundation recently drew the grand prize ticket. Angie Petequan and her spouse absolutely lost their minds when they got the exciting phone call from fundraising coordinator Jamie Raelian.
You are our grand prize winner.
Oh, what? Oh my God, no, wow. How much, 94?
$95,677.50, Angie.
I'm pulling over. Oh my God! 94,000! But I gotta split it with 4 other people.
Hey, you know what? That's still a lot of money to split between 4 people.
A new exhibition at the Thunder Bay Art Gallery is using art to break down the stigma surrounding substance use. It's called Shaping Stories, and it was unveiled for the first time on Wednesday. Visitors can get a first-hand look of the artworks which highlight resilience, healing, and voices on the forefront of addiction. Jaden Billick has the details.
Throughout November, local artists are sharing their own personal stories through paintings, photos, and artistic designs tied to addiction recovery and lived experiences. Chair of the Thunder Bay Drug Awareness Committee, Stephanie Diebold, says the exhibit aims to shift perceptions to create more space for compassion and understanding in our community.
So the Shaping Stories exhibit demonstrates how art and data can humanize substance use issues that are often hidden in silence. So through creativity, collaboration, and compassion, we can replace stigma with understanding and isolation with community support.
The initiative invites visitors to reflect on the impacts of stigma and why it's crucial to support people in their mental health and substance use journeys. Community members like Thora Cartledge have contributed to this exhibit, using creative expression to confront the toxic drug crisis and share the real impact it's having on families and the community.
It's startlingly real that in 2024, Thunder Bay area lost close to 135 individuals, many of them young men, like my son, who I lost not in 2024, but earlier in 2023 to toxic street drugs. In 2024, that number was up to 134 from opioid-related accidental overdoses.
Myself, as part of the Thunder Bay Drug Awareness Committee, and Reaction Collective Celine Moondinger, we worked together to put this exhibit together by collecting pieces from different projects that we worked on throughout the year that really highlight substance use stigma and ways that we can challenge and combat that.
Organizers and artists alike hope visitors leave the exhibit challenged to rethink their assumptions about substance use, reduce stigma, and consider ways to support change. They're also offering safer use education, mental health resources, and ongoing support. The exhibit runs until November 27th at the Thunder Bay Art Gallery's Community Room. Jaden Billick, TBT News.